question which is beyond CAM. So your question is,
Yeah.
I mean, how are we deploying learning strategy programs, interventions across because of this change? So once again, a great question, and it also allows me to share a very interesting story. So at our scale, we have a program which we call Sprout, which is the which enables the onboarding journey of any new joiner, particularly in the frontline position. So our scale is, on an average, we train about 2,500 people in a year. So 2,500 people till February of 2020 used to get trained in one of central locations in a place like Lonavala and all that. So depending on what business it is, between 7 to 11 days of in-house at a great location, 100% face-to-face training. So we also pride ourselves in the agility, the rate, the rate of change which we can achieve in CIPLA, within CIPLA and all that. So when COVID hit us, we say that we have to move because new joiners have to be onboarded. This is an industry where, and see, I have worked in 6-7 industries. This is the only industry where the buyer is significantly more knowledgeable than the seller. Hence, it's important to give as much as knowledge to prepare the new, the employee to have meaningful interactions with the HCP. And when I say meaningful, mutually meaningful. It's always meaningful from our side. We want to talk about our products, our services, and all that, but it has to be meaningful from the HCP's perspective. So we had to shift very fast to 100% face-to-face to 100% virtual program. And I still remember 6th of April 2020, we launched the first 100% virtual Sprout. And since then, we have been having a great journey in terms of how do you ensure that nothing is lost in a virtual platform. So we had to make trade-off choices. You can't give everything you are giving in a full day face-to-face program versus what goes into virtual, which means that you had to make choices there. So something goes on a virtual. Parallelly, we had to invest in the huge transformation of the balanced content to a spaced, bite-sized, interactive digital content on the LMS platform. So humongous, considering the number of therapy areas, the products which we had and all that. So we had to do that. Now that's only one part of the problem. So this is the new joiner. But you have, 8,000 plus people who are supposed to do 10 plus calls on an average, are homebound. They're sitting there. You don't know what to do with them. So meaningfully engaging them, so helping them sharpen the saw. So we were doing very good in digital learning, but that was past. I can just quote a number I was looking at till December. We clocked around 7,500,000, so which is 7.5 lakh hours of learning, which has been consumed by the CIPLA sales force only, and which meant that we had used multi-channel. So one is the self-paced digital learning consumption. Then how do you get the SMEs? How do you get the medical affairs, all teams to use channels like maybe a tele-coaching or maybe a virtual interactive instructor-led training, all that to ensure that we went up. So we calculated on an average, people were doing about 10 hours of learning in the first part of the lockdown in a month, which is humongous, which is more than a day of learning. And this is coming in many bite sizes. But digital also gave us, Nilesh, a tremendous opportunity to believe this is also a way to do, where we see significant opportunities of leveraging cost. And we don't want to save money. We want to reinvest that money into technology, into platforms, into modern ways of doing learning, and investing disproportionately in the places where we'll give the biggest returns for us in terms of readiness of our field force getting into the new ways of, or I should say, the reimagined ways of selling.
Okay. That's interesting thing that use the money saved from a physical to the virtual side and put it into actually enhancing the learning experience and sustaining learning on a constant basis. Because I, I also see that the world today requires far more frequent learning interventions than probably what it used to be earlier, because the change is so fast.
No,
uh,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll just give you an example. So one part is making your sales force learn. A bigger cause for us was how do you make sure we make our leaders, and to Srinivas's point, that the mindset. So we made a huge investment in in no time, curating a management development program on themes like digital mindset, or maybe a strategic thinking, from one of the top universities, management universities in Asia. So, and we did that. We invested in that because it's important for our business and sales and marketing leaders to very quickly, in an agile way, adopt this new ways of doing. Because if they don't make that shift in that mindset, it's not going to happen.
yeah,
We have not changed in the way we do sales in pharmaceutical selling for the last 5 6 7 decades in India. If that has to happen, you have to invest in at the leadership level also. So exactly.